Welcome to Demon Tales. You met them in nightmares. Now meet them here.
You must subscribe to us! Don't forget to click the bell icon, otherwise you will not survive!
Nothing about that road seemed unusual at first. The dead animal caught his light. Cold as a winter's breath in the distance, something stood. Too tall, too still. Then he noticed the house wasn't still anymore.
The Hollow Man.
The countryside looked harmless in the last minutes of daylight. Old wooden fences leaned as if tired of standing. The sky was bruised with dull purples and fading orange as the sun sank behind distant hills. Ethan Hale drove alone, leaving the city late and trusting the navigation app. The alternate route promised to be shorter and quieter. It hadn't mentioned the road would shrink into cracked asphalt, barely wide enough for 2 cars. No houses, no traffic, no lights. The headlights ran signpost and occasional dead animal. Ethan checked his phone again. No signal. The screen reflected his tense face. Driving alone through farmland at night should feel normal. Yet, something about this road felt wrong. Then the first sign appeared, a tilted wooden board written with private land. Do not stop. Ethan slowed instinctively. No gates, no fences, just open fields fading into darkness. The wind bent the grass in strange waves, moving against the direction of the breeze. He drove on. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The road never curved or changed. That's when Ethan noticed the farmhouse, 2 stories tall, its crooked silhouette leaning as if part of it had sunk into the earth. As Ethan passed, the light went out instantly. He glanced in rearview mirror, but the farmhouse already gone, swallowed by darkness. Moments later, the engine sputtered. At first, just a small stutter, then a violent jerk. The engine died. Silence rushed in. No wind, no insects, nothing. Ethan tried the ignition again and again, but the engine answered only with a hollow clicking sound. The headlights lit only a short stretch of road. Beyond that, the darkness pressed in like a wall. Ethan hesitated before opening the car door. The door creaked as he stepped out. He walked to the front of the car and lifted the hood. Nothing looked wrong. No smoke, no leaks. The engine simply sat there, dead and unresponsive. Coming from somewhere behind the farmhouse, he could no longer see. Ethan heard something behind the farmhouse he could no longer see. Ethan stepped back toward his car, heart pounding. Maybe a farmer, maybe a passerby. Ethan squinted into the darkness. At first, there was nothing. Then a shape formed. It stood just outside the light, still, silent. Ethan stumbled back to his car. The figure stepped closer, silent. It stood just outside the light, still, silent. Hello? Ethan called. It looked human. Ethan stood frozen beside the car, his scream cutting off as the night absorbed it without echo. The fields disappeared entirely, leaving him suspended in a void. Then the headlights flickered back on. For a moment, Ethan felt relief. The field ahead was empty. No movement, no shape. Ethan rushed into the car and slammed the door. His shaking hands turned the key again and again. The engine roared to life. Ethan sped forward without looking back. Minutes passed. Then something felt wrong. He had been driving straight, yet somehow he was passing the farmhouse again. The farmhouse stood exactly where it had before, crooked and watching. Ethan pressed the accelerator harder, but the car slowed anyway. The engine died. Now Ethan saw the house clearly. Rotted wood, broken steps. The front creaked door showed darkness. Something moving inside the house. Nothing but darkness.
Nothing is there. Open it! Stay back. Let me in. Let me in.
The figure stood inches away. Up close, it was worse. The figure stood inches away. Grey skin stretched over sharp bones. The fingers spread. Too many joints. The glass forked beneath its touch. The passenger door creaked open. Ethan screamed and scrambled away, but the door kept opening. A foot stepped inside. The figure folded itself into the passenger seat. The figure turned toward him. Its face wasn't hollow. It was worn. Beneath the decay were traces of a human life. This thing hadn't been born like this. Ethan froze. The air inside the car grew cold. You saw the sign, it whispered. The figure pointed toward the farmhouse. Suddenly, Ethan was no longer in the car. He sat inside the decaying farmhouse. Figures stood around the room, twisted, thin, watching. This road feeds on hesitation.
I don't belong here!
Ethan backed away. I don't belong here. No one does. A door opened into deep darkness. Ethan ran for the front door.
You can still leave, not the way you want.
Morning came quietly. Inside, a car phone glowed with one message. How